Welcome to the CompTIA Project Plus prepcast by baremetalcyber.com. Digital access control in projects defines the rules and mechanisms that determine how team members interact with systems, data, and digital tools. It dictates who can log in, what information they can view, and what actions they can take. Securing this access is fundamental to protecting project assets, intellectual property, and sensitive communications from unauthorized use. The project manager must ensure that every access arrangement is fit for purpose, actively monitored, and easy to revoke when it is no longer needed. This requires close coordination with IT and security teams to align operational needs with protective measures. Remote access enables project participants to connect to systems and resources from locations outside of the primary workplace. It has become essential for distributed teams, vendor collaboration, and hybrid work arrangements where flexibility is necessary to maintain productivity. By allowing off-site participation, projects can tap into a wider pool of talent, accommodate travel schedules, and respond quickly to client needs. However, this flexibility must be implemented with the same rigor and control as on-site access to ensure that convenience does not weaken the security posture. Securing remote access channels begins with ensuring that all data transmitted between the user and the project network is encrypted. VPNs create encrypted tunnels that protect communications from interception, while HTTPS with SSL or TLS secures browser-based tools and portals. In addition to secure connections, endpoint devices must meet security requirements such as updated antivirus, active firewalls, and current operating system patches. Verification of these conditions before granting access reduces the risk of malware or compromised devices entering the project environment. Remote access carries inherent risks if not properly managed. Using unsecured public Wi-Fi, running outdated software, or working on shared family devices can expose project systems to external threats. Stolen or guest credentials may allow attackers to log in if multi-factor protections are not in place. The project manager's role is to work with IT teams to define and enforce secure remote work practices, which may include providing secure hardware, limiting connections to approved networks, and enabling monitoring for unusual access patterns. Permissions form the core of access control by defining exactly what each user can view, modify, or delete within a system. Permissions should match an individual's project responsibilities so that they can perform necessary tasks without having access to unrelated or sensitive functions. Excessive permissions, such as granting administrative rights unnecessarily, increase the potential impact of mistakes or malicious actions. A disciplined approach to assigning and reviewing permissions helps maintain a secure and manageable environment. The principle of least privilege, often abbreviated as POLP, is a foundational guideline for assigning permissions. It states that users should only have the minimum access required to perform their duties, nothing more. Limiting access in this way reduces the potential damage if an account is compromised and helps prevent accidental changes to critical data or systems. Enforcing least privilege from the start of the project and maintaining it through regular reviews is essential for effective risk reduction. Permission levels and categories provide structure to how access is granted. Common levels include read-only for those who need to view information without changing it, contributor for those adding or editing content, approver for those authorizing actions, and administrator for those managing the system. Categories of access might include specific file repositories, system utilities, or application modules. Mapping these levels and categories to defined work packages and the project's organizational hierarchy ensures that access rights are both purposeful and consistent. Cloud-based tools such as SharePoint, Jira, and Confluence allow for granular control over permissions and are widely used in projects. Their administrative panels let managers assign roles, set expiry dates for access, and view audit logs of all changes. Integration with corporate identity systems like Active Directory or Okta allows centralized control, making it easier to manage users across multiple platforms. For the project manager, understanding these controls is critical for maintaining alignment between operational needs and security requirements. Multifactor authentication, or MFA, adds a crucial layer of defense by requiring 2 or more verification factors before granting access. This can combine something the user knows, such as a password, with something they have, such as a token or smartphone app, or something they are, such as a fingerprint or facial scan. By introducing a second barrier, MFA makes it far harder for attackers to exploit stolen passwords alone. Its adoption is now considered a baseline standard for securing sensitive project systems. Implementing MFA across a project system should focus on the most critical environments first, such as cloud storage containing sensitive documents, VPN gateways, and administrative panels. The project manager should coordinate with IT to enforce MFA for all users of these systems, ensuring that it is not treated as optional. Options for implementing MFA include authenticator apps, SMS-based codes, and biometric scanners, with selection depending on the sensitivity of the system and user needs. MFA brings measurable benefits to project security by drastically reducing the risk of breaches resulting from compromised credentials. It strengthens trust among clients and stakeholders, demonstrating that the project takes access control seriously. It also supports compliance with security frameworks that require strong authentication measures. By making unauthorized access significantly more difficult, MFA safeguards both the project's deliverables and its reputation. Despite its advantages, MFA can face adoption challenges. Users may resist due to perceived inconvenience, older devices may not support certain authentication methods, and poorly planned rollouts can create disruptions. These barriers can be overcome through targeted training, clear communication of the benefits, and providing reliable fallback authentication options. The project manager should work closely with IT to ensure that MFA is implemented in a way that encourages adoption without sacrificing availability or productivity. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Monitoring and auditing digital access is essential for verifying that access policies are working as intended. System logs should record who accessed which resources, when the access occurred, and from where the request originated. These logs make it possible to identify unusual patterns, such as logins outside of normal working hours or from unexpected locations. Regular review of this data can uncover dormant accounts, misuse of privileges, or potential breaches. The project manager should ensure that logs are retained for a period consistent with organizational policy and are reviewed on a defined schedule. Access request and approval workflows provide a formal process for granting permissions. Any new access should be initiated through a documented request that is routed to authorized approvers, such as the project manager, system owner, or security officer. This ensures that access is validated against business needs before it is granted. The workflow system should maintain a record of approvals, denials, and subsequent changes to permissions so that there is a clear audit trail of how access decisions were made and by whom. Temporary and time-based access controls help balance operational needs with security. For example, a contractor who requires access to a specific database for a 2-week task can be granted a temporary role that automatically expires at the end of that period. This prevents access from lingering beyond its intended purpose. Time-bound controls support the principle of least privilege by reducing the window of opportunity for misuse while avoiding delays in project execution. Revoking access during role changes is as important as granting it initially. When a user changes departments, moves to another project, or leaves the organization, their access rights should be reviewed immediately. Permissions that are no longer relevant must be removed without delay to prevent unauthorized activity. For terminations or offboarding, immediate revocation is critical, and the project manager should coordinate with HR and IT to ensure that access lifecycle management is consistently enforced. Separation of duties in digital environments ensures that no single individual can perform critical functions from start to finish without oversight. For example, in financial systems, one user might enter a payment request while another must approve it. This division of responsibilities helps prevent fraud, errors, and untraceable actions. The project manager should design workflows and assign permissions in a way that supports separation of duties, particularly for sensitive tasks involving funds, approvals, or data changes. Digital identity management and single sign-on, or SSO, streamline user access across multiple systems. With SSO, a user logs in once and gains access to all integrated systems they are authorized for, reducing the need to remember multiple passwords. This approach improves the user experience and reduces password fatigue, which can lead to insecure practices. SSO is often integrated with identity providers such as Active Directory or Okta, allowing centralized control over authentication and authorization policies. Access control lists, or ACLs, define which users or groups can interact with specific resources. These can be applied at many levels, from file systems to cloud storage environments and databases. ACLs specify permissions such as read, write, or execute, and they should be kept accurate and up to date. The project manager should ensure that ACLs are reviewed regularly, especially after team changes, to maintain alignment between assigned rights and current responsibilities. User awareness and security training are vital for maintaining effective digital access control. Even with strong technical measures, users must understand how to log in securely, manage passwords, and use MFA correctly. Training should also cover how to recognize and respond to social engineering attempts, phishing emails, or other tactics aimed at gaining unauthorized access. Refresher courses throughout the project help reinforce best practices and reduce the likelihood of accidental security breaches. Incident response for access breaches must be clearly defined so that any unauthorized attempts to gain entry into systems trigger immediate alerts and investigation. The project manager should coordinate with IT and security teams to isolate affected accounts, block suspicious activity, and initiate forensic analysis. Post-incident reviews are necessary to understand how the breach occurred, update policies or controls, and communicate lessons learned to the team to prevent similar events in the future. Compliance standards such as HIPAA, GDPR, and PCI DSS include specific requirements for digital access controls. These may dictate how permissions are assigned, how MFA is implemented, and how access logs are stored. Failure to comply can lead to significant fines or reputational damage. The project manager must work with compliance officers to ensure that digital access strategies meet all applicable regulations and that audit results can be presented as evidence of adherence. Balancing accessibility and security is an ongoing challenge. Users need systems that are easy to access so they can work efficiently, but too much convenience can erode protections. The project manager's role is to design policies and processes that provide robust security while maintaining usability. Involving end users in policy development can help identify solutions that are both secure and practical, increasing adoption and compliance rates. Digital access best practices for projects include enforcing the principle of least privilege, implementing MFA for all critical systems, and continuously monitoring activity logs for anomalies. Automated access reviews and structured approval workflows help keep permissions aligned with actual needs. When digital access is well managed, it safeguards confidentiality, preserves data integrity, and upholds the trust of clients, stakeholders, and team members alike. Thank you for listening. Please follow baremetalcyber.com on social media and check out our books at cyberauthor.me.